Welcome back to the second part of the video. In this part we will focus on the coloring and I will tell and show you exactly what I did. So enjoy watching and creating. Here we go. I really love this part because this is where everything comes to life. And I'm gonna use a whole lot of colors and a whole lot of layers. So I'm just gonna try and talk you through it because else I'm afraid if I just put it without speech, then I'm afraid you don't know what colors I use, etc, etc. But we're gonna start with the willow. Yeah, gonna start with the willow. Look at my hands, by the way. They're dirty. I'm just gonna color in some of the willow. And this is just the first layer. You don't have to be really precise about the coloring because we're gonna add some water later. And then you don't see anything anymore. Yeah, I'll take my water brush. I'm just gonna go over the Inktense and look what happens with the color. You can barely see it when you put the pencil on, but then, ta-da! I love those pencils. Always work from light to dark. What you can also do is take your pencil and your water brush and go around it. You can take some color off the point of your pencil. So that's tiny layer one. Gonna add some here. So you can also just color it and of course when it dries up it's a little bit it's lighter again. When it's wet it looks a lot darker. So let's put a little light in the window and I'll take the sun yellow for it. Just add a bit of yellow on the bleached part, a bit around it, and you barely see it until you wet it. So don't think you have to press harder or look, you wet it and there it comes. And when you want to add more intensity or more color, just do another layer when it's dry. Or take a bit of the point like this. I'm gonna turn my work a bit because I'm gonna add yellow in the wood of the house as well. So the light is really shining everywhere. And I'll probably add some more later. On the camera it looks a lot more yellow than it really is. I'm gonna take some cadmium orange and I'm gonna add a little of that orange here in the window around the center. And with a bit of water you can float it a little, but you get a bit warmer light and intenser light when you do a little bit of orange in there. So that's good, I think. And I got some yellow on the roof, but I need a lot more. Just especially here in the light part. So I'm just adding more. Also here in the wood. On this side there's also a bit. And the wood now only has one color, the willow. So I'm gonna take oak to give it more depth. In the darker shades I'm gonna put the oak. That's a darker brown. And what you can also do is draw some stripes in the wood with the oak and activate it with water. My water brush is almost dry. And if you think you don't have enough, take some of the point of the pencil. Don't go drawing on wet paper, because then you ruin the paper. Now that's for one part. Now for the door part, we're gonna take the willow again. There you go. So we're gonna go with willow. And we're doing the same basically, adding color with the pencil, adding color in the door, also important, the back of the door, and taking the water brush I like to turn my work a lot so I can reach the corners better. Like this. Well, it's still quite light, but we're gonna add so many more colors, so don't worry. Some willow in the tree here and at the side, and some willow at the tree here also. And with every layer your colors get more intense and your drawing stands out more and more. So for the little stones down here, I started off using Fern, and you can see it here if I hold it really close. I used a lot of pencil there, and this is quite a picky work the way I did it, but I like it. I'm gonna take a sharp pencil with a sharp point, and I'm gonna do all the right sides of the stones. Gonna make them all green. The ones here on the side, Here we're gonna color it the quick and dirty way. Make it green like that. The same for here next to the door, bottom part. Dog will be there anyway, and the rest, all the right sides, make it green. You don't even have to activate this with water, you can just leave it like this, but you can also tip it with a little water, especially on the sides. And over here, for the fern, I'll take the color Fern again. I'm gonna add some shading here next to the path, and we're gonna draw a little well, I don't know what it's called, but draw it. Do it. Same for here, a little area, a bit more green. Here as well. And you can do a little oak close to the stones. You can do that at once, and the colors will mix really nice. It's also fun. Take my bigger water brush and activate the colors. I'm gonna do it over here as well. Works better for me when I turn the whole thing upside down. And here my little dainty thing, I don't know what it's called, a little hill. It's not really a hill, but so you see you get a lot more dimensions already because of some color in the foreground as well. I'm gonna add a lot more, so don't be afraid. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, let's see where we're gonna go. Maybe go with the tree. Well, for the tree, of course, starting with Willow. It's the lightest brown I'm using, so therefore always the first color to take. Just color in some areas. Over here it's not stamped, but the tree is there, so I'm just gonna color through the house. I don't care. Like this. I'm gonna add some color in all the striped areas of the tree. In the top parts we're gonna use some green as well, because it looks pretty. And for here we're gonna also add some willow. When those greens and those browns mix, it starts to look really nice and natural.
Just make sure you leave some lighter spots as well, so that don't cover the whole tree. A little bit of color in this one. So, a bit more alive again. With the oak, we're gonna make things darker, but no, we have to wait. It's not dry enough yet. So that's a bummer. We're gonna do the lanterns. I'm gonna show you a bit of light. I can do this here. First I start with the yellow. Here I just color over the gesso I used in here. And I only color in the middle part for now. Then I'm gonna take a look how it looks. Yeah. And then maybe add some on the side also. You can also do this with watercolors or with watercolor markers or whatever you want to use. I'm just really happy with those Inktense pencils because they are waterproof when they dry. So you can layer them really nice. I'm gonna add some oak in the little stones near the door because this needs to go a lot darker. And at the bottom here as well. You see that looks a lot better when you darken it up. Especially shading is really important if you want to get the right atmosphere. So don't hold back on your darks. That's important. I still think the roof doesn't have enough color. I'm gonna add some more. And that's a nice thing with the water brushes. Once they really flow, they go. So you can really add a lot. And easy. You can work easy with those. And I like easy. But I also like complicated because this project is not really an easy project. It's taking a long time. So it's for the daredevils. Of course, when you did one, it's gonna go a lot faster, I can tell you. Because you know what to do. I'm just adding more darks in the tree now. And the darkest color, the bark, I still didn't use. Just gonna see with the oak how far we can go. Oops. We're gonna need some fern to do this. And I'm starting with green because those stones are also green, and I'm just coloring the bottom part. I'm not reaching the top part, only the bottom part I made green. Let's zoom in a bit. that's a bit exaggerated. Let's do it like this. I take my smallest water brush and I go from the light area to the darker area. I'm just swiping with my brush, not lifting it. And then when you're done, you lift it. That's a nice little trick to get a gradient. So I'm starting in the white with a clean brush. Swipe, don't lift. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And then you can jiggle a little up. And now you have some, a nice color gradient in there. I'm gonna add some green in the door as well. And of course, some water. Water, water, water. You might consider even making the backgrounds with the regular distress as well. But I was wondering if it would work with the oxides, and it did. Because from the oxides I have the larger pads, and from the regular distress I only have the minis. So that's what I'm now doing is adding bark, and bark is the darkest brown color I took. And with those extra darks you can just make a lot of shade, so the tree really stands out. Don't forget to wet it. You might also have noticed that I did not stamp the animals yet. I will do that later, because I noticed the first time I stamped them already. And then you cover them a bit with water, and the chalky parts of the oxide cover your black ink, and then your black ink is not black anymore. You keep covering it up with the Copic marker or something to get it black again, and that's really not funny. So stamp the animals when you're almost done. Take a bit more shading here as well. You can see how dark that color is. It's really, really dark. Yeah. Oh, I forgot I zoomed in. That's a bit stupid. But oh well. I'm gonna take the branches here and use some fern, the green colors. When I did the design for this, when I made the layout, it's a better word, I was planning on covering the top area with acrylic leaves, but then I was finished and I was too scared. So scared to ruin it that I just went without the leaves. But maybe, since I have two soon, maybe I will try one with leaves, and I'll show you in the Lavinia group how it turned out. But I'm a bit scared to do that. So you can see the difference. This is almost finished, and then over here it's still a lot of work to do, especially with those branches on top of here to cover everything. but that's gonna be fine. So let's start on the other side. This can dry. We can add more layers later on if we want to. Can also let it go like this, but first things first. We're gonna start again with the Willow. I'm coloring in some parts to make it dark already. Just so I can see a bit difference. Because of course this is not easy. So if you just make some parts dark already, you can see a bit more difference between all those branches in here. Okay, so let's wet this to see what happens. We're gonna add a lot more darks and some highlights, etc, etc. So you can see it starts to look like a tree already. And all those harsh edge, those, yeah, don't know the word. The overlaying areas start to look a little less already. Just gonna put some color in the branches. Doesn't need a whole lot because it's dark there. Dark, dark, dark. When you just color over some areas, it will be darker and you don't see all those little kinks. And little by little it starts to become something. So I'm gonna focus on the door for a bit so this can dry. And you go from one area to the other, to the other, to the other. But with Fern, we're gonna start to get some green in that door. At the top, at the side, and at the bottom. Then we're gonna cover it a bit already with oak in the darkest areas. So at the top, at the side, and at the bottom. And now we're gonna wet it and see what happens. Bottom first, to the top. And the rest will do when it's dry. Then we're gonna focus on this. This is the wrong color. I took oak instead of the fern. Those really look alike. And they're just laying there. Alright. Cover it up with water. Okay, so this is just green. Green and boring, but the rest will come. Add some green in the tree as well. to create a more natural look in the wood. And of course we're going to darken it up. This part is a bit messy. Should do something with that. And this is why you have to improvise anyways, also with your own work, because there's no way on earth your stamping is exactly the same as mine. But this part here I messed up a bit because of this one that didn't go to the side, as you might remember. So now I took the oak and I'm gonna put a really thick layer of it to get some depth. I'm gonna do that here as well. Let's see what happens. Take some water. And you see, when you just cover everything and color over the errors, you just mask whatever you did wrong. So this one is quite dark, so I'm gonna go in here with the oak to make this stand out a bit more. And I'm gonna make sure that everything will be brown now. So I'm taking my Willow pencil and my waterbrush and just going over all the lighter parts to make sure they have some brown in it. So by layering your colors, everything will get more vibrant, more realistic, and very, very pretty, I think. Add some greens, add some browns, and I'm just gonna fast forward the coloring now a bit, because else I have a 6-hour tutorial on my hands. It's not gonna be fun to watch. So just try to watch what I'm doing, or just try to go your way with your own drawing. it's now time for the last stamping. So I'm gonna stamp again with the Nocturne. I'm gonna stamp all the animals now. And that's then it really starts to come alive. You can see everything looks pretty cool now, pretty mystical also, so I like it. Just making sure there are no hairs on my small hairs on my stamps. Sometimes that's the case. All right, I'm gonna start with the Midnight Meandering rabbits. I'm gonna try to put the ink on as thick as I can. I'm gonna stamp them over here and overlap, of course, a bit the tree like this. I'll press it and let it rest for a bit. Especially in those bodies, it's sometimes tricky to get the ink, but therefore I always use the Copic, the Multiliner. So that's it. Not too bad. Could be worse. Let's clean this up. And now I'm gonna take the smaller hair. I'm gonna put it over there. It's a smart area because it's a bit messy. I'm just gonna add a lot of ink again. And trying to put it right there. Press it down again. All right. And then we have the fox at the right side. It's a bit of a sneaky fox, I think. Could be dangerous, a fox entering this scene with all those rabbits. But I will. And the fox is going here. So for the finishing touches, I'm gonna add some highlights, some bokeh effect, and some sparkles, and some, well, I'm gonna add a lot. Let's keep it simple. For the bokeh technique, that's gonna be fun, because I use this circle maker, and I use water, and then quite firm acrylic brush with water, just water, nothing else. I'm gonna go circles. Oh, and a piece of tissue paper. You just have to take it. I'm gonna remove the circle maker, and now you see a small lighter area, and that's the effect we're looking for. So we're gonna do that in some more areas with the water. Go around the circles. You can see it lightening up. Don't brush too hard because you ruin your paper. Just go in some circles. You don't need to do a whole lot of those. You can also do it with Pastel pencil. I'm gonna do that later on. No, that's barely visible. It works the best in the darker areas. But yeah, I want them in the lighter areas. So let's see if this works. Not really, but if I'm gonna do one over here, just gonna do a small one. It works really well. You'll see. Clean the brush. Go. Take your tissue paper, and it works like a charm. So that's one way to make some highlights. The other way is to take a pastel pencil and just draw circles. You can go, that's the fun part, you can go on top of everything. Just draw a circle. You can dab it a little with your finger. Make some smaller ones. Fade them a bit with your finger. You can even put them on top of your branches. Doesn't matter. That works. It works. Or on your house. Or here. What you can also do, if you make a bigger one, for example, let's see where I put a bigger one. You want to soften the edges a little. You can take a paper stump and go real easy around those edges, so you can fade it a little. And then what I think looks fun is add a little acrylic marker in the middle. Just a tiny dot in those dots. So that's that. I want to show you how I shade my animals, or highlight my animals, that's better. Because that's a question I get a lot. So I'll show you. I'll take my smallest water brush. And after that, I'm gonna speed up the video again. But let's start here with the ears. I'll take my Posca pen and I'm gonna draw a line, and then quickly take my water brush and fade out the drawn line. Just fade it out. And I did not really let my marker dry enough, I'm afraid. but that's how I do it for starters. Let's see about here. Add a line. Take the mark, take the water brush and fade it out. Gonna do the ears as well. And you put down your line. Don't put down your line all the way at the side. Leave a little black line. So, and you can layer this. Add some more. Here as well. Draw a line. Take the water brush to fade it. Oh, I hope I wasn't off camera. Well, I'm gonna show it one more time in the ears here just to make sure. I'm gonna zoom in so you can look at it really well. Take the mark, take the Posca pen, draw a line, take the water brush and fade it out a little. That's how I do it. And then for the areas where it's darker and my Posca pen is about to go out, I think, but it still works. So this is a lighter area, and you can layer this on top of each other so you can make it lighter. Another way to make things lighter and more highlighted and more blended and more pretty is to use this white Lightfast pencil. This is a very oily, creamy pencil, and you can really easily it's still wet, so it doesn't work. But you can really easily, nope, I have to be more patient because now I'm removing my whites, but okay, I'm just gonna show you in the fox without the acrylic on top, but you can quite easily. Yeah, it's barely visible on the camera, that's a bit weird. Well, this is what I do. It's not really, it's not a powerful white. Not at all. For a powerful white, you use the Posca. But this is to fade it a bit more into the bodies. But let it dry first. That works better. Mine is still not really dry. Where's my Posca? Here. So, first with the Posca, draw a line, fade it out. Draw a line, fade it out. That works quite well. At least it does for me. Here on the chest. See? That's how I do it. So you can just spend your time now to highlight everything. And yeah, I will I'm just looking for the zoom out. I'll just keep on working this while the video is running, and you can take a look what I'm doing. Just gonna add some more sparkles and highlights, and then we're done. So we've now reached the end of this tutorial. I really hope you liked it. I would love to see your inspired works, of course, and well, let me know if you liked the tutorial. Let me know if there are things I can do better. I really appreciate your feedback, and maybe I'll make a tutorial in the future again sometime. Thanks for watching, happy creating, and see you the next time. Bye bye.